Two more, Cecil and then Tony.
Coach, just as a follow-up to that, probably even in the years that you've been here, 10 years ago, you might have one guy, two guys leave after his junior year. Now 7, 8, 9 guys leave after their junior year. Do you see that on the field in spring practice? Is that a noticeable difference?
I think there's no question that it's different, but I don't think it's any different here than it is every place else. You know, we've had this conversation, I think, before, but I don't know. I don't really look at it. I've heard 135 guys. I had 142 guys went out early for the draft. I do know there's some pretty compelling stats out there about guys going out early for the draft. I think in the last 5 years, not counting this year, there's been 380 players or thereabouts go out early for the draft, and 25% of those guys didn't even get drafted. And another 25% weren't on a team in 3 years. So that means 50% of the guys that went out early for the draft had failed careers. But if you look at the number of guys that were first and second round draft picks, there were very few guys that had failed careers. Now we have guys that have no draft grade, 7th round grades, free agent grades, 5th round grades that are going out for the draft. And, you know, the person that loses in that is the player. You know, you got your 3rd round draft pick, and we had one here last year. I'm not mentioning any names. Goes and starts for his team, so he's making 3rd round money, which is not that great. Be the first guy taking his position this year probably and make $15, $18 million more. So the agent makes out, the club makes out. Now they got a guy that's going to play for that kind of money for 3 more years. All right, and everybody's out there saying, we'll get to your next contract. Well, there's obviously a pretty 50% of these guys are never getting to a next contract. And that doesn't mean all the rest of them got to one either. So it's the culture and it's the trend. And, you know, I've actually changed how I talk to recruits now. You know, I tell every recruit that I talk to, the reason that you're going to college is to prepare yourself for the day you can't play football. I think we have a lot of people way back in high school, that look at college as a conduit to get to the NFL. And look, I am 100% NFL. I'm 100% guys having careers. But people have to be smart about the business decisions they make relative to the NFL, because it is all business. And when people make emotional decisions, they're going to have to suffer some really difficult consequences for themselves in the future. Because you don't have to go out for the draft early. You can come back and play. We've had 6 or 7 guys here that had 2nd and 3rd round grades that became top 15 and 1st round draft picks and made a significant amount of money doing that. So there's some really good examples of guys that did it that way. And, you know, so I just, and look, I'm all for every one of our guys that went off for the draft. I'm going to do everything I can do to try to get them drafted as high as they can get drafted. All right, because once they say they're leaving, what benefits our program is that they do great, and I want them all to do great. But I don't think that not just our players, there's a significant amount of players that are not making good business decisions about what they do. And yeah, it affects our team, but our team turns over more quickly. We just have to have more better young guys that can go out there and learn how to play and provide depth to the team. And it's not going to be an excuse for what kind of quality we put on the field. We just got to do a better job of coaching, because we got to do a better job of developing young players, because they're going to have to play more quickly.